Here we have an assessment standard question based on our last PowerPoint, which was looking at the inflammatory response. Multiple choice demonstrating your knowledge set to level C. When tissue is damaged, mast cells release histamine, which immediately results in which of the following, A, B, C, or D? And the correct answer is C. Histamine immediately increases localized blood vessel dilation and capillary permeability. The focus of our lesson today is phagocytosis, and from page 26 of our student guide, we're looking at the last two learning intentions. By the end of this PowerPoint, the aim is that you are able to describe the action of phagocytes and their role in defence, as well as being able to describe the action of cytokines and their role in defence. For those of you who have a National 5 background, we have covered and introduced phagocytosis during our National 5 multicellular organisms topic. We learnt at National 5 that phagocytes engulf pathogens through a process called phagocytosis. We're going to look at that process in just a little bit more detail at the higher level. The process of phagocytosis is illustrated in the figure in front of you, and that figure will be made available to you when you're in class. A phagocyte is a type of white blood cell and it's mobile. When it detects chemicals released by a pathogen, such as a bacterium, or antigens that are present on the surface of a pathogen, it moves towards the pathogen. Antigens will be covered in more detail in our next key area. The phagocyte, as it moves towards the pathogen, will then engulf the invader in an enfolding of the cell membrane, which becomes pinched off to form a vacuole. A phagocyte's cytoplasm contains a rich supply of lysosomes, which contain the digestive enzyme lysozyme. Some of these lysosomes will fuse with the vacuole and release their enzymes into it. The bacterium becomes digested and the breakdown products are absorbed by the phagocyte. For the purpose of your notes, we have a definition of phagocytosis involving the engulfing of pathogens and their destruction by digestive enzymes contained in lysosomes. The image that appears on the screen in front of you is hyperlinked to a video that has an overview of the process of phagocytosis. The video is useful as it shows you this engulfing process and then demonstrates the action of the lysosomes to break down that foreign pathogen. Once you've watched the video, please remember as always to come back to the presentation to finish off the remainder of the slides. Cytokines are cell signalling protein molecules secreted by white blood cells that have arrived at a site of injury or infection. Cytokines attract other white blood cells to accumulate at the site. Under the action of cytokines, we also find that phagocytes are being attracted to the site of injury, and upon arrival, the phagocytes will carry out the process of phagocytosis. Following the digestion of the microorganism by the phagocytes, they are capable of releasing more cytokines, which will further attract more phagocytes to the infected area to continue the battle against the pathogenic invasion. Dead bacteria and phagocytes may accumulate at an infected site as pus. Here we have a final video that is an overview displaying the action of cytokines and how the action of cytokines link with the action of phagocytes. Once you've watched the video, please remember to come back to the presentation because we have some assessment standard questions on the next slide. Here we have a diagram outlining phagocytosis. For question number 1, applying your knowledge to level C, you have to describe what happens during stage A. For question 2, name the chemicals which aid the movement of T lymphocytes to the site of infection. Now, we haven't covered T lymphocytes yet, but they are an example of a white blood cell. Describe what happens during stage A. Phagocytosis is being carried out on the pathogen, or the pathogen is engulfed or captured by the phagocyte and broken down. Look at the detail that's required here. You need to mention the term pathogen, and you're either naming phagocytosis or giving a description of it. The chemicals which aid the movement of white blood cells to the site of infection are cytokines. That's us at the end of this teaching and learning PowerPoint. You're asked, as always, to assess your own learning against the 2 learning intentions appearing on the screen. If there's anything you're unsure of, please go back to the relevant part of the PowerPoint. That's us at the end of our key area on non-specific defence. You've been asked to look over page 27 where you can fill in your summary. Page 28 has a completed level C summary for this subtopic. We have a retrieval practice flashcards, definitions and terms to be matched up. We have our mind map to be completed after a period of revision. The idea is to be able to retrieve the information from your long-term memory here and not just copy it from your jotters. And in class or via Teams, you have a variety of targeted past paper questions under the heading of non-specific defence.